All right, diving right in, folks. This deep dive is all about helping one of you out there conquer English fluency.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. They sent us, well, a bunch of stuff, like a study guide, English Fluency Fast Track, it's called,
Oh, yeah.
and then some more, like, general tips and tricks kind of thing.
Hmm.
So we're going to, like, sift through it all and, map out a path just for them. You ready?
I'm totally ready. And what strikes me is how these sources, they really do hit every angle,
Yeah, they do.
Goal setting, learning styles, the whole immersion thing,
Oh.
even how to, bust through those plateaus.
It's a lot.
It's like the ultimate fluency toolkit.
It is. It totally is. And speaking of toolkits, I got to mention this SMART thing.
Oh, yeah, the SMART framework.
Yeah. Did you know it comes from, like, the business world?
Yeah, it's a project management tool originally.
Right. But they've, like, totally made it work for language learning. Pretty neat, huh?
Totally.
Yeah.
And it really helps make those goals, well, smart.
Okay, so remind me, what does SMART stand for again?
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. No more wishy-washy goals. You got to get specific.
Right.
Specific. Like the quiz in English Fluency Fast Track, it has this example, increase speaking ability. But how?
Okay, yeah.
By learning 20 new phrases each week, and then, boom, by the end of the month, having a 15-minute chat with a native speaker.
Okay, that's a good one. So if our listener out there, if they're, let's say they struggle with daily practice, right?
Yeah, classic problem.
How could they use this SMART thing to, like, actually make it happen?
Well, instead of I'll practice more, they could say I'll practice speaking for 10 minutes every weekday.
Right.
Before work, using, let's say, a language exchange app. See?
Oh, I see.
Specific time, clear duration method, way more actionable.
Yeah, it's like bite-sized, right? Less overwhelming.
Exactly. And both sources, they really push for this personalized plan thing too, right?
Yeah, not a one-size-fits-all situation.
No way. In fact, the pasted text, it's got this whole section on figuring out your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, wait.
Are you amazing at grammar but then freeze up in a conversation? Or can you get the gist of a movie but writing an email is impossible?
That's me. Emails are hard.
Right. So knowing this, it helps you focus your energy where it's needed most.
It's like, what kind of learner am I?
Right.
And that's another thing they both talk about, the different learning styles.
Big time. So English Fluency Fast Track, they break down the main ones: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic.
So, like, if I'm someone who needs to see things like words written down, I'm probably visual, right?
Yeah, you might love flashcards or those visual dictionaries.
Okay.
But what if you're a mix? Like the pasted text, they mention this blended learning idea.
Blended learning. Give me an example. I'm curious.
Okay, so imagine you're learning about, history in English. First, you watch a short video, right? Then you chat about it with a language partner. And finally, you write a summary.
Whoa, okay. Hitting it from all sides.
Exactly. Multisensory learning, it really helps it stick.
It does. And that kind of leads us to immersion, right? Both sources are all about it.
Oh, yeah. Immersion's huge GE. And it's not just about living in an English-speaking country.
Right.
It's about, switching your phone settings to English.
I did that, actually.
You did? Cool.
Yeah.
Or, watching movies, listening to music, all in English. Surround yourself.
Create that bubble.
Exactly. A little English world.
And speaking of worlds, the pasted text mentions these VR language apps. Have you tried any?
I have, yeah. Mondly VR, it's wild. You practice, ordering food at a virtual restaurant.
No way. That's so cool.
It is. It's like a video game, but everyone's speaking English.
I love that. But even with all this tech, immersion's not just about the words themselves, right? The pasted text talks about culture, too.
Yeah, that's key. You could know all the words in a sentence, but without the cultural context.
You missed the point.
Totally. Like idioms, right?
Oh, yeah. Idioms are tricky.
They often don't make literal sense. You got to know the culture behind them.
It's like when you finally get that joke.
Yeah.
That aha moment.
Exactly. That's when you know you're really starting to get it.
So we've got the goals, the learning style, the immersion thing going on. But what about the actual studying,
Yeah, how to make those study sessions count.
Right, because mindless repetition, that gets old fast.
Oh, tell me about it. But luckily, both these sources, they've got some killer strategies for, practicing smarter, not harder. One big idea is deliberate practice, being intentional with your study time. And there's this technique, spaced repetition.
Oh, yeah, the pasted text was all about that. They even mention apps like Anki and memorize.
Yeah, those are great examples. But for someone who's like, what the heck is spaced repetition?
Yeah, break it down for us.
Basically, it's spacing out your review sessions instead of cramming. You know the forgetting curve?
I think so, vaguely.
It basically shows how we forget stuff over time. But if you review right before you're about to forget it,
You keep it in your brain longer.
exactly, you interrupt that forgetting process. And these apps, they use algorithms to figure out the best timing for each review.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like training your brain to hold on to the information, right?
Yeah, like building those long-term memories.
Okay. And it's not just for vocab lists, right? Because both sources, they're big on practicing all four skills.
Absolutely. Reading, writing, listening, speaking. Gotta hit them all.
We'll dig into those more in the next part, but I do want to hear about this shadowing thing.
Oh, shadowing.
It sounds kind of, I don't know, sneaky.
Nah, a little bit, but in a good way. Basically, you listen to a native speaker, like in a podcast, right?
Okay.
And you try to repeat what they're saying at the same time, like mimicking them.
What? Like you're their voice double.
Exactly. Matching their tone, their rhythm, even their accent, if you can. And it does wonders for your pronunciation.
Oh, I bet.
And intonation, fluency. It's like training your mouth to move the right way.
I like that. So we've talked about pushing ourselves, but what about when you hit that wall, the plateau?
Ugh, plateaus. Everyone's worst nightmare. You're making progress, and then, bam, you're stuck.
They can be so frustrating.
Totally. But good news, both sources, they've got tips for busting through them.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so the pasted text is all about changing things up, feeling stuck. Try a new app, find a different conversation partner, maybe explore a new part of English culture. Hit that refresh button.
I like that.
And they also say, set new challenges. Comfortable with basic conversations. Try a movie without subtitles, or maybe tackle a novel in English.
Whoa, okay. That's a challenge.
It is. But pushing yourself, that's how you level up. And don't forget to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Right, like give yourself a high five for every little victory.
Exactly. Treat yourself, share your achievement. Just take a moment to appreciate how far you've come.
It's like acknowledging the journey, not just focusing on the destination.
Exactly. And speaking of mindset, the pasted text, they're all about that growth mindset,
Oh, right. Growth mindset. Remind me what that is again.
It's believing you can always improve, even when it gets tough. Seeing mistakes not as failures, but as, like, stepping stones.
Ooh, I like that stepping stone.
Right. It's a journey, and you're always moving forward. And speaking of support, both sources talk about finding your tribe.
Your people.
Yeah. Other language learners, online forums, meetups, even just a friend learning English, too.
That's like you're all in it together.
Exactly. You can share the struggle, celebrate the wins. It keeps you going.
So much good stuff in this first part.
Yeah.
We've looked at goals, learning styles, immersion, even how to practice smarter.
And those plateaus, can't forget those.
Right, but we're going to bust through them.
We are. And up next, we're diving deeper into listening and speaking skills.
The heart of it all.
Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, we laid the groundwork, all that big picture stuff.
Yeah, the foundation.
Right, but now we got to, actually use the language, right?
Right. Put it into practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, listening and speaking, those are the stars of the show today.
They are. And, the pasted text is really big on speaking practice, but it also says, a lot of people, they get scared to actually speak,
Oh, yeah. Speaking, way more scary than, just reading or writing, I think.
It is. It feels more vulnerable.
It does. But both sources, they agree, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
And that's where I think finding a conversation partner comes in.
Totally. And you've got so many options these days.
You do.
Both sources, they recommend these language exchange platforms.
Oh, yeah,
Tandem, HelloTalk, those kinds of things.
Right.
You
Yeah.
connect with native speakers who want to learn your language.
So you both benefit, right?
Exactly. You help each other out. It's
Right.
a win-win.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what if you're not quite ready to, chat with a native speaker?
Oh, good point.
The pasted text also mentions role-playing and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, simulations.
Simulations, yeah.
Those are great, especially when you're starting out. Imagine practicing, ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions.
Oh, right. Or like a job interview, even.
Exactly. It's like a dress rehearsal for real life stuff.
It is. It is. Takes the pressure off a bit.
Yeah, you can mess up, try things out, build your confidence.
Okay, that's good. But listening, we can't forget about listening, right? Half the equation.
Oh, for sure. And the pasted text calls it active listening. It's not just hearing words, it's really engaging with what you're hearing.
So Paying attention, not zoning out.
Exactly. Focusing on their tone, their body language, even trying to get the whole message, not just the words.
That makes sense. But why is it so important for language learners? Like, what's the benefit?
Well, obviously, it helps you understand spoken English better, but it also makes you a better conversation partner.
Oh, right.
When you really listen, people can feel it, you know?
Makes the conversation better for everyone.
Exactly. It's all about connection. Plus, think of all the cool stuff you can access once your listening skills are strong.
Like movies, podcasts.
All of it. A whole world opens up.
I love that. Okay, let's move on to grammar and vocabulary. Those are like the building blocks, right?
They are the foundation you build your fluency on. And the pasted text, it's got some great advice here, especially for beginners.
Yeah, what's their take?
Well, they say, start with the most common grammar structures first. Don't get bogged down in the complicated stuff right away.
Oh, yeah, grammar can be so overwhelming.
It can. But start simple, build up gradually. That's the key.
Okay, and they also talk about learning grammar in context, right?
Yeah.
Not just memorizing rules.
Right. Like
Right.
instead of just learning the rules for past tense, you read a story and see how it's actually used.
Oh, okay.
It makes it feel less like, robotic rules, more natural.
It's more like you're absorbing it, right?
But exactly. And for vocab, the pasted text, they're big on learning words in phrases.
Phrases, like not just individual words.
Yeah, like collocations. It's just groups of words that naturally go together.
Okay, give me an example. I'm curious.
So instead of just strong, you'd learn strong coffee or strong opinion.
Oh, I get it. It's like how you actually use the word, right?
Exactly. It sounds more natural, and it's easier to remember because you're learning chunks of meaning.
Okay, I'm going to try that. And speaking of putting it all together, they suggest writing too, right?
Oh, yeah. Even just a few sentences in a journal every day.
Just to get those words flowing.
Exactly. It helps you solidify the grammar, the vocab,
Yeah.
and it also lets you, find your own voice in English.
Oh, that's cool. Your own style.
Yeah, it's more personal. But, language learning, it's not always smooth sailing.
Oh, tell me about it.
There will be times you hit that wall, that plateau, You're like, am I even making progress?
It's the worst feeling, like you're stuck in a rut.
Totally. And it can be super discouraging. But the pasted text, they have some good tips for dealing with plateaus.
Okay, good, because I need those.
One big one is change your routine. If you're doing the same thing every day, your brain might just need a shakeup.
Okay, like what kind of shakeup?
Try a new app, a new conversation partner, maybe explore a different aspect of English culture,
Like switch things up, get out of that rut.
Exactly. And they also say set new challenges. If you can handle basic conversations, try watching a movie without subtitles, or maybe read a whole novel in English.
Whoa, a whole novel. That's ambitious.
It is, but pushing yourself, that's how you break through and level up.
Okay, that's true. And celebrate those little wins, right? We talked about that.
Oh, yeah, super important. Treat yourself, share your progress, just take a moment to appreciate how far you've come.
Because it's easy to forget, You get so focused on what's next.
Totally. And speaking of mindset, the pasted text, they're all about cultivating that growth mindset. Remember that.
Oh, right. Growth mindset. Always learning, always improving.
Exactly. Seeing mistakes as opportunities, not failures. It's a journey, and you're constantly growing. And speaking of support, both sources, they really highlight the power of community,
Your people, your cheer squad.
Exactly. Whether it's an online forum, a local meetup, or even just a friend learning English, too. It's like having this built-in support system, people who get it.
Because everyone needs a little encouragement sometimes. Okay, so we've covered listening, speaking, grammar, vocab, even those pesky plateaus. What else?
Well, now it's about taking all this knowledge and, actually making it part of your daily life.
Right, making it stick.
Exactly. And the pasted text, they talk about this thing called microlearning, which I love.
Microlearning. Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's just finding those little pockets of time throughout your day to squeeze in some English practice.
Oh, like on the bus or while you're waiting for something?
Exactly. Listen to a podcast, read a news article, even just review some flashcards while you're standing in line. Those little bursts, they really add up.
They do.
Yeah.
And they also suggest having a dedicated learning space, right?
Oh, yeah. Even if it's just a corner of your room or spot at the library.
Like your English zone.
Exactly. It helps you get in the right mindset, minimize distractions.
Okay, I like that. And once you're in the zone, the pasted text recommends those language journals, right?
Yes. Jot down new words, grammar rules, anything that helps you learn. It's like creating your own personalized study guide.
It is. And don't forget to review, right?
Oh, review is key. Language learning, it's a cumulative process. You got to revisit things regularly.
So it really sinks in.
Exactly. Spaced repetition, flashcards, anything that helps you keep those memories active. But in all this, don't forget to take care of yourself, too.
Oh, right. Burnout is real.
It is. And the pasted text, they actually talk about mindfulness.
Oh, mess. Okay, that's interesting.
It might seem a bit out there, but taking a few minutes to breathe, relax, clear your mind, it can actually make you a better learner.
Oh, I get it. Because
Yeah.
stress, that blocks everything.
Totally. So taking care of yourself mentally and physically, that's important too. All right, so much covered in this part. Listening, speaking, grammar, vocab, plateaus, even micro-learning and mindfulness.
Phew, that's a lot. But we're not done yet, are we?
Not quite. There's one more crucial piece we need to talk about, and that's staying motivated. Because this language learning journey, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is, it is. So how do we keep that fire burning even when it gets tough? Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. All right, final part of our deep dive, everyone. We've talked about so much from goals to grammar to even mindfulness, but there's this big thing we haven't really tackled yet, and it's staying motivated.
You're so right. Motivation, it's the fuel that keeps us going, especially when language learning gets tough. And trust me, it will get tough sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what do we do? How do we keep that fire burning?
Well, the pasted text, they have this really interesting point about having a strong why.
A why. Okay, what do they mean by that?
It's like, why are you learning English in the first place? And not just a surface level answer like, oh, I want to be fluent. Dig deeper.
Okay, so what will being fluent allow me to do?
Exactly. Maybe you want to travel the world and actually connect with people, Or maybe it's for your career or to study something you love.
So it's got to be personal, something that really matters to you.
Exactly. Write it down, put it somewhere you'll see it every day, and remind yourself of it when you're feeling like blah.
Oh, I like that. Like a little motivation boost.
Exactly. Your own personal language learning mantra. And speaking of support, both sources are all about community.
Yeah, finding your tribe.
Right. Other language learners, they get it. Whether it's online or in person, having that connection, it can make all the difference.
It's like you're all in it together, right? Cheering each other on.
Totally. It's so motivating. But even with all that, there will be days when you just need a quick pick-me-up,
Oh yeah, those days happen.
And that's where the pasted text talks about this thing called micro-learning, which I'm a huge fan of.
Micro-learning. Okay, break it down for me.
It's all about those little moments throughout your day, Instead of scrolling through your phone, do a quick English thing.
Oh, like while I'm waiting for the bus or something.
Exactly. Listen to a podcast, read a news article, review some flashcards. Those little bits, they add up over time. And as we wrap up this whole deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. Where's your unexpected 5 minutes for English today? It's probably hiding somewhere in your day, waiting to be discovered.
I love that. So those little moments, they can make a big difference, huh?
They really can. It's all about consistency, effort, and embracing the whole journey, The ups and downs, the challenges and the victories.
And having fun along the way.
Yes. Don't forget the fun. Learning a language, it's an adventure, a chance to explore new worlds. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You got this.
That's it for this deep dive, everyone. We hope you're leaving feeling inspired and ready to conquer English, one step at a time.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.